Hi, our guests today are three members of the Town of Milford's Transportation Advisory Committee. We have Scott Crisafulli, who's normally head of the Highway Department, Sue Clark, who is the head of the Ruth Ann Bleakney Senior Center, and local business person Michelle Zale. Welcome.
Welcome, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, tell us about the buses. See? They don't know what to say.
Tell. Yeah,
That's
hold
right.
on.
Okay, so they
Where do you want
have
me to start?
They have engines in them, right?
Yes.
Well, the MetroWest Regional Transit Authority service started the end of last August.
Right.
The Finance Committee is backing you for another fiscal year.
Yes.
And when last we heard, attendance was starting to hit more than 1,000 people a month.
Was it March? Hit 1,025 actually.
Wow.
Okay?
Yes.
And you're going to be putting up some cool-looking, they look like green bullets signs.
Look like a
Yeah.
big pill.
Rotating.
Oh, you saw the photo.
Yes, I did see the photo.
Rotating schedule mounts that will be on the actual signposts.
Or as the photo I put in the paper says, what is it?
You're right, that's what's this. A large pill.
Yeah, those will be going up. I'm not sure when yet. We don't have them all in hand yet. We don't have the print yet, but soon, probably in the next month.
Okay, and you guys have been working on plans to actually start promoting the service after it's been in open stealth mode for, what, 5 months?
Well, it's been getting promoted. There's been a lot of outreach
Right.
in different businesses and a town hall, different areas. We've put schedules.
There's a
from
big
churches
schedule in the
to
lobby of the library.
everywhere.
It's been in the newsletter, the senior center newsletter.
So
and
that goes
out
to
to over
how many people
3,000
a month?
3,000 households. So the schedule's been in that. So I don't think it's been a big secret.
Right, but it's for a town that never had bus service, I think, getting 1,000 people a month is pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
great.
very good.
Fantastic,
Very good.
fantastic. And it's increasing every month.
Yep.
That's
So
good.
far.
Well, it'll continue to get, I mean, I grew up in a town, well, partly grew up in a town that had really big bus services all around, so.
It's great. It's a great thing for the town. I mean, it's another form of transportation people can use to get from A to B and do what they need to do. Instead of relying on cars and rides from people.
Or not being able to get someplace.
Exactly.
And so you have a lot of people taking it from Birmingham Court to and from the senior center.
Yeah, it seems to be one of the biggest pickup and drop-off spots. It works for them. They can get on, they use their discount Charlie card, they can go shopping, they can go wherever they want.
Really gives people more access to the more shopping that, a lot of people
And
are.
we know the high school students that are going to age out of the special ed programs are being taught how to ride the bus on their own and how to take it to jobs and stores. I went with them one day in March. That was interesting.
That was the day we saw the 15 riders getting on.
Yeah, you were walking
Yes.
by measuring something
That was
around
very
109, and
interesting,
you're
yes.
probably going, what are all those people
Well,
doing up
yeah.
at Big Y?
Exactly.
No, it's very interesting because, you take it for granted, but they had to get taught, like, for instance, not to tell people where they live, to make sure they don't flash their money when they pay their way on. Things you don't think about, but because of their needs, they could be taken advantage of. And how they can get to work at a store or go to the store so their parents don't have to
Access.
drive them.
They're providing access, which is,
Yeah.
It would be interesting to know what kind of business improvement in businesses or, what kind of increase in business.
I mean, I think we'd see some kind of increase, obviously, but
yeah,
I
I think so.
I don't really know at this point.
Where are the biggest place pieces going to? We know Birmingham Court's one. Reliant Medical on 140 is another.
That's a big one.
I think
That's a
Reliance
one.
is in the top three, yeah.
Really?
And
And Town Hall.
Down
Town
hall?
Hall,
Town Hall.
Senior Center, and Reliant.
Okay.
And then,
What about the shopping plazas?
well, I think the way that the numbers are coming out, you see where they're being picked up and where they're dropped off, and then when they're picked up and dropped off. So I think it's clear that they're using it to shop, they're using it to go medical appointments, they're using it to visit the center. wherever they need to go. Now that we added the library, so
Yeah,
that's gonna be a popular
I was
stop.
gonna say, for people who don't realize, it goes to the plaza where Hannaford's was, now Big Y. It goes to the plaza where Kohl's is, it goes to the plaza where Target is.
Right.
It goes to the plaza where Shaw's is.
All the big shopping areas, basically.
And it goes to the medical, major
goes to
medical
the
things in
medical,
town.
right.
Reliant, Edward Kennedy, Milford Regional.
And all in between.
And all in
So
between.
it's not that you have to be at that stop, you can
Right.
flag
Right,
it
you can
down.
push
Right,
the button.
that's
Right.
one big thing, and a lot of people have asked me that don't realize that it's a flag down bus. You can, if it's driving by you, you can
So I
flag
can
it
go,
down.
"Hey, hey."
It will stop,
It'll
yes.
stop.
Use my Charlie card.
Yes.
Right.
Or
Hey, hey.
Or not.
$1.25 cash you get on. But it's a flag down, but it's also, you pull the rope to stop, or you pull the string to stop wherever you want to. So everybody needs to know that, because that's been a question, like, I'm not near that bus stop, but I see the bus, you can flag it down.
And I think it's also important, it throws the schedule off a little bit, but if you live 3/4 of a mile, if you're disabled and you live within 3/4 of a mile, they will go to your door and pick you up.
You have to
So,
call for that,
You have
though.
to
You have to
call
call
for
for the
that,
pickup, right.
but they will pick you up, it will be door to door, so that's another service that they're providing.
Now, has this reduced the burden on the senior center?
No.
It hasn't. So
Not at all.
So the bus service at the senior center is still.
still-
Well, your
Still-
van is primarily
Great.
for medical, correct?
Medical and errands, but,
So it's not
this-
just to bring people to and from the center, though, is it?
No.
Okay.
So.
So it's a great adjunct to the
Right.
services.
It helps.
Oh, that's great.
It helps. I mean, when our bus is full, we always suggest that they might want to see if they can take public transportation.
Great.
Yeah. I think it would be educational to take a group of seniors on the bus and let them see how it runs, because a lot of them have not ridden public transportation, and this would be a good time for them to see what it is. Might scare them.
I think,
Do a field trip.
for Al and
Yeah.
I, who grew up with it, and I know, Michelle, you had it in the New York area.
Yep.
It's interesting coming to an area that's never had it.
Right.
And realizing people don't know how to read a bus schedule,
Mm-hmm.
they don't know what to do when they get on the bus and they see the fare machine. I mean, in my day, you had little paper tickets you handed.
Right.
You'd
You
buy
bought
a
it
book
the-
of in advance, and
right.
today you're waving a card on a machine that you have to pre-charge.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
We had
different,
those
but
change things. You
Yeah.
drop the change in,
Drop the
they go
change
chinka, 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 so the bus driver could see you put in the right amount.
and usually the bus driver had a little change thing on his
Yeah.
belt and he'd make change. But that's not there anymore. And I mean, I've ridden the train from Franklin to Boston, but even that's different because they want you to buy your ticket in advance or pay cash. But this is different, and it takes some getting used to for people who haven't done it. And I think everybody's used to the convenience of, hey, I leave my house, not I've got to go down there.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? Like my other job, when I drive to other towns, I notice things in the street. I notice potholes, I notice
Right.
trenches and sidewalk and everything. And when I drive around to other towns now, I notice their buses. I see buses in a lot of towns, very surprised.
Oh, yeah.
That I never noticed before. You just don't notice it.
Well, because you're not thinking,
Right.
it's not in your
And I
mind.
mean,
just
when
a
you
product.
get close
So,
to
yeah, I
Boston,
do
they have the
notice it.
regular big-size coach buses
Right.
that the T has. When you come out in the regions, they all have the smaller ones like MWRTAs.
Right, and I am starting to notice them all over in different towns, all over Massachusetts.
Although out near UMass Amherst, they have the bigger ones because they're running a lot of kids among all the colleges out there. But you start noticing them and looking for them. I've been in Worcester recently, and they have the bigger buses, and they have set schedules, but
Well, you expect that in the city, but in a smaller
Yeah,
town,
you don't expect that.
right.
Yeah, I was driving into Boston earlier today, and I noticed in every town, everybody's bus. So I was like, this is great. Yeah.
this is an unusual area because now that Milford has it, Upton, Mendon, Uxbridge, Sutton, Douglas, let's see, we now have Worcester goes to Northbridge, is probably one of the areas in the state that doesn't have, there are very few areas now that don't have a regional bus service. That happens to be one of them. And it's interesting.
What
When-
region do they belong to, though? Are
they don't.
That's the,
There is
that's
no-
the problem.
there
They're
is
not
no
part of a
region.
region.
Worcester expanded to Northbridge when Milford Regional opened their big medical center up near the propane company on their land, and now they run to the hospitals in Worcester back and forth from that, but they don't run this way towards Milford. But it's a catchment area with no buses.
Right.
And the only other area is, there's an area out in the Berkshires. And we're the only 2 areas without buses.
Wow.
Now, the other interesting part is in Upton, we abut Westboro, which has train service. So we have a certain amount of assessment that we have to pay because we abut a place that has train service. But we have no transportation. So it would be nice if that could work out. I mean, it's,
And,
That would be
and
really
Mil-
good.
Milford doesn't have transportation unless you change buses
Right.
to go to the train stations like Ashland or Franklin or Westboro. Doesn't go there.
But I look at the whole thing as a starting point. You know?
Absolutely, you
So
have to start
It can
someplace.
expand, it can grow into other towns like Upton. And
Absolutely.
eventually, you're gonna see it everywhere. It's a matter of time. But you gotta start
Right.
somewhere. And I try to
And-
explain that
and-
to a lot of
and-
people.
Well, the fact is, it's growing every month, and I think because you never had buses, you get the questions from the finance committee, well, I went behind a bus at 11 o'clock and there was nobody on it, so is it needed?
They were already at work then.
there, what's that?
They were already at work then.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, like probably any bus or anything, at different times of day are slower than other times. So obviously, rush hour, early morning is probably the busiest, and late afternoon.
So if you ran, if you ran a curve on when you'd see peak times. And,
Right, of course,
yeah.
right.
Well, I just, I remember taking a bus to work in high school, and if you took a bus between 4 and 7 o'clock, I mean, you had standing room only on some of those buses till people got off, just like the train out of Franklin. Once you get past like the 3rd stop going towards Boston, it's standing room only. And then, if you took it at 1 in the afternoon, there were plenty of seats. But, you don't cut out the bus at 1 in the afternoon because people still need it
Right.
and use it.
What, down the road, do you see anything changing or any additions or any modifications or?
I think
want
it's
that
a
one?
work in progress.
Yeah.
I
It
think,
is.
we'll know what the changes need to be as we move forward with it. Just recently, we added the library stop because there was a lot of interest in that. So I think the schedule, we don't want to change it, we don't want to keep changing it, but I think once we start seeing the numbers come in, if we see that there are some areas of town that just aren't being utilized and there are others that could be, maybe there will be a change.
In the stops?
And, yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I-
in the
Reliance
route,
is moving
in the
also,
route.
so that'll change
Right.
in the fall.
Yeah, supposedly Reliance move into Fortune Boulevard in the fall, and where that is a big stop now.
Yeah, they're going to where the
We
Sports
would like to
Authority
work
was.
with that and try to squeeze that in.
Right.
But we're not sure if Reliant is totally reliant on courthouse also, because the courthouse being right across the street, maybe a lot of the riders.
That's right, maybe part of that is absolutely the case.
Who
So
knows,
we
maybe
will
they're
still
going to
have a
Dairy Queen
stop.
down the block.
Well, a
somewhere
lot
near
of the
the
kids use the
courthouse,
bus to go to Dairy Queen after school, I know, so, yeah.
And
That's a wonderful thing, having your kid on the public bus,
Absolutely,
not
going to get ice
roaming
cream, right?
around,
well,
it's-
do you have any? When you say it goes to town hall a lot, do you have any idea? Are people getting on at the high school and coming down to the youth center, and then staying there? But there is no youth center stop, so they're getting off at the library,
Or
or
town
they're
hall.
getting off at
Town
town
hall.
hall.
Town hall would be the place they'd get
Right.
off.
So I mean, there's no data on that yet because it's so new.
Well, it's hard to track the person that gets on where they get off. The bus
Right,
driver
and
doesn't do
The
that.
tracking you get doesn't say Kevin got on here,
Right.
Exactly.
Kevin got off there.
And
It
I
says
think some people have asked us that question, and where are these people getting off that are getting on at these different, we don't know that, so.
right, and it just says, 5 people got on here and 5 people
Yeah.
got off there, and you don't know if they're the same people or different people.
Right.
Nor is there any way without, really government intrusion into your
Well,
life of
exactly,
knowing.
that's another thing, we don't, we can't really track that.
That could come in the future, though.
Well, let's hope not.
Yeah, who's getting on and where they're getting
Big
off.
Brother was watching.
Well, they're not saying Charlie card ID number 5
Right.
got on here and off there.
Right.
So for all you know, you
they
might
probably
have.
could track it like that, though.
But for
Oh,
all
careful.
you know, you might have some people like, I might get on at Town Hall, go over to the Big Y, then go off to Target, and then get off at Shaw's and walk home from there. You don't know.
Yeah, it's funny, a lot of people get off at stops, but the numbers
Getting back on, don't
getting
match
on,
up.
yeah, it's not the same.
So are they
They're
getting
way
picked-
off.
Are they getting picked up, or is it just you don't know
Yeah,
yet?
no,
Right.
you don't know if they're, yeah, exactly, where they're going, so.
Okay.
I think also the fact that we stopped going all the way to Holliston to meet up with the other bus that's going into Framingham was a big deal, because that
Right,
took
now,
a
now that
long
bus
time.
comes to
It comes
your
to
Stop
Town
and Shop.
Hall and Stop and Shop.
Right.
And then the question is, when Stop and Shop goes down to the old Kmart Plaza, are you gonna still stop at that plaza and then go to the Kmart Plaza?
There are plans for that.
You know, that's the,
That parking lot on Beaver Street side of it, there is a plan there to have a bus stop there.
Yeah.
So that is definitely going to be in the works.
And I actually took a look this weekend to see how they're going, and they've got that old building,
Oh,
Kmart
man.
gutted.
Moving right along, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna start the foundation for the new building, because they're building a third building in there and expanding the second one, so it looks interesting.
Well, they got the parking lot all tore up for the foundation. That place
So
is just,
So it's hard to tell, but I know the attraction is there, that if you wanna go to the shopping things, I think the problem is the culture is people are used to taking their car. And they need to see, no, you can take the bus and
I think
be
everybody
really
should take it for
comfortable.
a spin. It is pretty neat to know you can take a bus around town. I've done it numerous times, and it's pretty cool.
I've done it
Definitely.
twice so far since it started, just to ride it and see what it was like. It's, you know,
Al, I don't think you've ridden the bus yet by the look on your face.
I grew up riding a bus, so I mean,
So you don't need the bus.
Been there,
it's-
done that.
Yeah.
it's, you know,
been
I
there,
rode
done
the
that, but
bus.
I just did it
I
to
rode it
see.
because I had never done it,
Right.
so I did get on the
I
bus.
wanted to
and-
see the type of people that were using it, because,
oh, people watching.
well, because there was some of the people who were against it said it would be for
A
It
certain
doesn't matter.
population.
It doesn't
people in the
matter.
town illegally.
It doesn't
Well,
It
matter.
doesn't really matter, because they're paying the fare.
Everybody,
If they need a ride, they need a ride.
That's
And
exactly the
It doesn't matter
case.
who you are or what you have. If you need
Absolutely.
a ride, you need a ride.
Right.
It could be a senior citizen, it could be a kid, it could be someone that doesn't have a car, it could be someone that doesn't
Well, I'll tell you,
drive.
it's just a simple thing. There's a lot of procedures you have and tests at the hospital
That's
where you need somebody to drive you home, and if you don't have somebody to drive you home, it's, okay, I can take the bus there, I can have the procedure. I can get on the bus, the nurse can put me on the bus at the end like they would see you in your car, and since the driver's there, you know, you
yeah, well, the driver's
get off
gonna-
at your house
Yeah,
and,
they'll just open the door.
or near your house. And,
No, not
but I mean, you don't realize that till you go for a test, where they say you should drive for an hour after this test.
Well, clearly, and the other thing that people really don't realize is that there's a string. Doesn't matter where you are, you pull that string,
And they
and the bus
stop.
is gonna stop, and the door will open, and you can get out. So it really isn't stop, as people think, stop-oriented, but it really isn't. I
And
mean,
someone can always meet you there.
and you can just wave your hand, and bingo, the bus stops, you get on the bus, bingo. So,
You know, I think the other thing people need to know is it's not just limited to Milford. So if you wanted to go like to the Natick Mall, I think for $1.40 for a senior, you could get on the bus and you could go to Framingham and then switch over to go to the mall, spend the day, get back on the bus, and, I mean, you have to make a couple of stops.
well, you have to,
Well-
you just have to plan
But-
it, that's all.
Right.
You just
But,
have
I
to plan
mean,
it.
you can do that.
It's funny you mentioned that. You know, I live in neighboring Mendon. We don't have a bus. My son, who doesn't drive because he's one of those people with a medical issue that he can never drive. He asked me if he could go to Natick Mall the other day. Would I take him to Natick Mall? And I said, no, but I'll take you to Milford. You can catch the bus.
the bus.
And he's like, huh?
Yeah.
And I said, get on the bus in Milford, take the connector, and it'll take you right to Natick Mall and all the way back, and text me when you're back in Milford.
That's excellent.
Did he do it?
No.
He's doing it on Friday.
Good, good.
Because I said, you know, if I don't have to drive you all the way to Natick, I'm not going.
You know, there's another service too that I don't know if anyone's used yet, where you can take the bus from Milford into Framingham, or you can pick the bus up in Framingham, and it will bring you to, I don't know if it's 5 or 7 major hospitals, door to door, in Boston. So you don't have to worry about driving, you don't have to worry about paying to park, you don't have to worry about any of that. It'll take you door to door to all these big hospitals. And that's a really good service, and I don't know if that's been promoted enough
Wow.
yet.
Well, why would you want to go to any other hospitals? We have the best hospital
Sometimes you have to.
in the country
Sometimes you
right
have
here.
to.
so.
But I think we're forgetting one thing. People are also coming from out of town to Milford on the bus, where people are coming to Milford Regional from
Right.
other areas. They're coming to the Cancer Center from other towns. So they are, it was attractive for MWRTA to have a bus come into Milford, and they can connect and get their cancer treatment, and then go back home, say to Holliston or Framingham.
So, well, just the clear fact that you have, all of a sudden you have a bus service in the town where people can get around is such an advantage to the community and the surrounding communities.
I think it opened up a whole window of opportunity.
Yeah, and we know the people that need the rides are taking it, the seniors, the people who, for whatever medical reason or, medical reasons, can't drive. Now I think you guys need to get the people who are using cars to say, I can take the bus.
That's
That will
one that'll
come.
take a bit longer, but people will begin to do that. Why should I drive if I can jump in the bus?
Yeah, and then maybe at that point, we'll have two buses
'Cause
running.
it's cheaper.
Maybe we'll have two routes.
Yeah, for a
I don't
buck and
know.
a half.
Maybe we'll go one way, one the other way. I
For a
don't-
buck and a half, you can go one way and you can go clear across town. That'll save
My
gas.
answer would be you get exercise walking to the bus stop, and it's probably cheaper than the gasoline.
Oh, without question.
Definitely. Well, the MWRTA also has got consultants working, I know definitely on our bus route, the Route 14 bus, to kind of let us know what it is that we should be doing as far as if we need to change stops or times or things like that too, which has been great.
So you have a consultant that's working on it, helping improve the route. But I mean, everything's going great. Considering it started out as kind of an experiment, I think it's really starting to blossom.
But it still is an experiment
It still is,
technically.
exactly,
It's
yeah.
not set in stone that it's going to be there year after year.
Well, let's
Right.
think positive. Think positive.
It's difficult to take that service away once it's started, so,
Especially with the numbers we have.
yeah.
Right.
True.
What everybody says, I've talked to people who don't know it exists, what bus, we have a bus, and so the best thing we can do is everybody tell everybody that.
Well,
it's
that's
out
why
there.
you're here.
Pass the word. We have a bus.
There you go.
You have a bus. We even did a little promo video with Carl Dalmagella, who's the outreach guy for MetroWest Regional Transit Authority, that actually, we shot a 5-minute promo video we aired last August, which was, here's how you get on the bus, here's how you pay the thing, and it's up on YouTube.
How to ride a bus. Well, first you get on, then you sit down in the chair.
Well, it was more how to pay the fare, what's expected.
Yeah, the first time I wrote it, it was a little confusing, to be honest with you. It's pretty simple once you see it, but when you first walk in, like, what do I do here? Where do I put the money? It's just, but
Well, I know how
Takes
to
once.
charge a Charlie card if I'm like at the T in Boston and you go to a station. It's like, a reverse ATM machine. You put in the card, put in some money and charge it. It's a little different doing that on the bus. When the driver says, here, give the driver $5 and he'll teach you how to.
yeah, and the thing if you're
Charge
not
it up.
using a Charlie card, you use exact change. So
Right.
there is no getting change back.
Right.
So, exact change.
And tap the card, don't hold it there.
Or I'll take all your money.
Right, because it'll drain all the money out of the card if you hold it there. But I know when you do commuter rail, you just wave the card at them. They don't even read it now. They just, hold it up and do that. They used to have somebody punch in the paper and things like that. But it's interesting. So if people have questions about the bus service prior to your little rotating signs coming up, who are they supposed to call?
The MWRTA, for the most
Okay.
part. I mean, they can call town hall and talk to Rick about it, but for the
That's
most part.
Rick
the
Filani, the
MWRTA
town
is all-
administrator.
Yeah.
Okay, and supposedly if I go on the internet on my smartphone, I can go to the MWRTA website, look up Route 14, and it'll actually show me where the bus is
Where the
moving
bus
around the
is.
town.
Yep.
Okay.
They didn't have that when we were.
No, they didn't. It was, where's
It
the
was
bus?
kind of, you'd sit out there and you go, okay, the bus is supposed to be here in the
It's
next.
10
month."
degrees, where's the blankety blank bus? I'm freezing, at rush hour, and
Been there.
it would be there, but
Well, that's great.
I'm trying to think. And what's it cost to ride the bus? I know seniors or
Senior's 70 cents, but you need to have your senior pass,
your senior pass, which you need to get from
which
the
you need to get from
MWRTA
them.
or
And
the
we've had distribution of those at the senior center numerous times, and Carl's been great about coming to the center and doing that again. So we will be doing that again.
Okay, then students pay,
I believe it's $1, right?
I don't know.
Or
what the kids-
It's
$1.25?
$1 for students, $1.25 for regular.
$1.25 for regular, with the trolley card.
Yeah.
It's more if you pay cash.
No, it's
No.
cash is $1.25.
Oh, it's the same, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Trolley card's the same
so
price unless you're a
basically,
senior.
for any of us to take it would be $1.25 to go from point A to point B. And then when we get off and we get back on, we pay $1.25.
Now, the question is, let's say they want to go to Natick, is it $1.25 for the whole thing, or do you have to pay when you get on the next bus?
I think it's $1.25.
You get one transfer.
One
so-
transfer.
transfer,
right.
yeah.
Okay, you get a
So
transfer.
you could theoretically go to Natick with that one transfer.
Right.
So for
Way cheaper
$1.25.
than driving.
Yeah.
way cheaper and a lot
Yeah.
easier too, really, actually.
Anybody wants to drive Route 9 at Christmas time, take the bus.
Well, it just seems like such a good thing to do.
Well, it's a good thing. You don't have the stress of driving in a car. I mean, yeah.
I have to tell you, I drove in and out of Boston
Text,
for
you can
15
do whatever
years.
you want when you're on the
Oh,
bus,
that's right. You can text, right? That's right. There's no login. Or would there
Right.
be a login stand? No, it's your writing. So
As
you.
long as you're
Right, yeah.
riding, you're all set.
Oh,
So
that's
you
right.
can text on the bus,
Yes.
not the driver.
Not the driver.
Not the driver.
So you could. Oh, wow.
Gee, maybe we should shoot the show on the bus one day.
Yeah, let's do it.
That would be great.
That'd be fun. That'd be great.
Tour of Milford.
Take a tour of Milford. I'll put the GoPro on my head as we drive through.
Oh God, I can just see that the image of that guy. I won't be able to get that image out of my mind. now. Oh, it's stuck there. Ooh, you with a GoPro on your head.
Well, we shot the opening to this show, Al, with the GoPro on my car window, driving through downtown.
That's true.
That's the footage going past Draper Memorial Park. It was a GoPro on my window, GoPro camera. So,
But the image of you have
Very
already for me.
progressive.
That means this thing. And who's that? Oh, that's a Cyclops.
well, you laugh. So, what kind of questions have you got about the bus?
I don't have any questions.
No, but people
no,
wanted
people-
to ask you questions.
So, are people coming into the senior center and giving you questions?
Yeah, they
Like,
do.
what
They
do
come
the
in-
seniors
well,
ask?
They don't really understand how to read the schedule, first off. So we have to kind of explain to them, if you're going to pick the bus up here at the senior center at this time, you're going to go to all these places, and then if you want to end up at the library, you're going to get there, you got to kind of walk them through it, so you're going to be there over on this time. But I think once they learn that, then they know what to expect.
Right.
And most of them are just coming in to see, where should I go? Should I wait inside? Should I wait outside? If I want to go back to Birmingham Court, will it take me there? So it's just information.
Why do I have to go to there, and there before I get back there?
No, I think they get that.
They get
I think
that,
they
okay.
get that, but they don't understand when they're going to get to their destination.
So that's
And then
all-
once
you
they're
have
at
to
their
figure that out, right.
destination, how are they going to get back home? Because, then you're going to kind of do it backwards. So if you're going to pick it up
Right.
at Target here, then you're going to have to go to all of these places, and you might have to, you're going to do a little bit of riding around.
Yeah, I mean, when I grew up, it
but-
was simple. You had like every 20 minutes or every half hour in the morning, there's a bus going that way. And we had a after-school bus, and then it was every half hour going the other way. So you just knew, I've got to be out there at whatever it was, 10 after the hour, then 20 of the hour, or whatever it was, and have my little pass book and get on.
And I think I paid 20 cents to ride all the way across town.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, this bus takes 1 hour to 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Well,
so-
they had a horse. The guy was in front, right? A horse. He was.
Good shot, Michelle.
Sorry.
Nice try, though. I like that.
Good shot. I do remember from where I grew up in the Newark, New Jersey area, it was 15 minutes to New York City, and it was, I think, 80 cents back in the early 70s. And the subway from downtown Newark, which you'd have to take a bus to, would be faster, but that was like $2 to ride the PATH train.
Oh, geez, I used to have to pay. But back in the day, when a pack of cigarettes was a quarter, and wow, that's a long time ago.
Say it again.
Yeah. He already did.
Back in the day. Back in the day.
Day.
Back in the day. I had to ride all the way across to Indianapolis, some 20 cents.
And my father remembers riding the Staten Island Ferry in New York for a nickel all day long as a kid.
Yep.
Until they caught the kids and realized they were riding back and forth all day, taking up seats. So then they started making them get off and charging them nickel. But that was my father's big thing, was we rode the Staten Island Ferry for nickel. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the bus in Milford. And I heard a little beep in the background, which means, guess what, we're out of time.
Yes.
So would like to thank the three of you for coming
Absolutely.
in.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
And
us.
if the route changes, you have more things you'd like to tell us about the bus, you're welcome back anytime. And of course, what do you want people to do? Ride the bus.
Ride the
At the bus.
Spread
Ride
the
the
word.
bus. Spread the word and ride the bus.